impact Republicans' impeachment strategy. In a statement posted yesterday, Bolton says he is now willing to testify in the Senate impeachment trial if subpoenaed. He wrote in part this: "Since my testimony is once again at issue, I have had to resolve the serious competing issues as best I could, based on careful consideration and study. I have concluded that if the Senate issues a subpoena for my testimony, I am prepared to testify." Senate Democrats took the surprise announcement as a win for their push to call witnesses at the upcoming impeachment trial. Senate Republicans, meanwhile, appear divided on the idea. When asked if Bolton should testify, Joni Ernst told NBC News, "Yet to be determined. We don't even have the articles yet, so until we start seeing some progress, really doesn't make a bit of difference."
Oh, dear God. Is that really who Iowa voted for? Do they really want to reelect this person who said, "I'm going to take you to the pigs"?
Let me go to Marco Rubio now, who said, "I think our inquiry should be based on the testimony and evidence they used to reach those articles now. We're under no obligation to extend beyond the record that they created."
Under no obligation if you don't want to know the truth.
No.
We're under no obligation. Just voters in Florida, understand this. Marco Rubio says, we're under no obligation to hear the truth. We're under no obligation to really think about that. I'm under no obligation, says an elected representative of the state of Florida, to find out the truth behind what the National Security Advisor called a drug deal. I mean, Willie, are they really talking like this? Is Willie there? Where's Willie? I can't see Willie. Oh, there's Willie. Hi, Willie. I was talking to you, but I was seeing Mika, so I was so confused. Well, so what do you think of Marco Rubio saying, we're under no obligation? Yes, he was a national security advisor. Yes, John Bolton was the one who called this Giuliani's drug deal. Yes, this is the same White House official who, upon this meeting taking place, immediately adjourned it and told everybody, go talk to the lawyer. I don't want to hear from him because I might hear the truth that I already know in my heart about Donald Trump. That's Marco Rubio's position this morning. I don't want everybody else to hear what I know about Donald Trump, says Marco Rubio. Is that why he was elected? Is that why Joni Ernst was elected?
Well, remember, if you were serious about finding out the truth about this case, about what happened in Ukraine, you could not have a better witness than former National Security Advisor John Bolton, who is a firsthand witness. In the House hearings, we heard from Fiona Hill, for example, who served really as a proxy for John Bolton. She was a direct report to him. And she was the one who communicated John Bolton's concerns. So now you have John Bolton saying, OK, you've heard from the people around me. Now I myself am willing to step forward and tell you exactly what happened. How, as a juror in a trial, could you say, no, we don't want to hear from that person? It's outrageous, but not surprising, Joe. Lindsey Graham, remember, said, I don't want to hear anything. I don't want to even see the transcripts. I'm not interested. The whole thing is a sham.
No evil.
This is part of a pattern from Republicans, so it's wrong, but it's not surprising.
Yeah, but you know, Willie, this is the most outrageous thing. And I'd love for you to if you have Lindsey's quote around. I know you go around with a little red book of Lindsey Graham's quotes. And if you could read us Lindsey Graham's quote from yesterday about this, that would be awesome.
It's a good one. But
what's so outrageous about all of this is these senators are going, I don't want to hear anything. The House has not done their job. We don't have they say they don't have the evidence in front of them. Why don't they have the evidence in front of them? Because Donald Trump said from the beginning, because he knew he was guilty, I'm not cooperating. My people aren't allowed to cooperate. You want my people to tell you the truth about what I did?
How dare
I'm going to make you drag them and their lawyers through court for months and months and months because we don't want you to know the truth. So now, because Donald Trump did everything he could to obstruct the House, now Republican senators like Marco Rubio and Joni Ernst and Lindsey Graham are saying, we don't want to hear it. We shouldn't hear it because the House didn't do their job. Why didn't the House do their job? The House didn't do their job. Why? Because Donald Trump had a concerted campaign to bury the truth.
Concerted and explicit. Remember, White House counsel wrote a letter, put it out to the public and sent it to the House of Representatives saying, we will not cooperate. You're not getting witnesses. You're not getting testimony from us. And at the beginning of this trial in the Senate, before it even started, the majority leader said, we will not vote to convict the president of the United States. So we're starting from a place of the president is innocent, and now they'll use anything they can get to make sure that happens, including saying that they don't want to hear from a central witness, perhaps the central witness, John Bolton. Here's the quote you asked for, as promised. Lindsey Graham said yesterday, nope, I'm ready to go. If they want to call Bolton, they should have called Bolton in the House. It's worth recalling that back during the impeachment of former President Clinton in 1999, then Congressman Lindsey Graham said, in every trial that there has ever been in the Senate regarding impeachment, witnesses were called. When you have a witness telling you about what they were doing and why, it's the difference between the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. That's 21 years ago from Lindsey Graham. Let's bring in New York Times reporter and MSNBC national security analyst Michael Schmidt. So, Michael, the million-dollar question, will John Bolton testify in this trial?
Well, that's really a Mitch McConnell question, and I think what will determine that is that group of Republican senators who, during the Kavanaugh hearings, asked McConnell to go back and have the FBI do a week-long investigation to give them sort of the cover politically to vote for Kavanaugh. Will the Susan Collinses or the Murkowskis say that for their voters, for their folks back home, they need to be able to say that they heard all of the evidence. And as we've seen with McConnell, he can, endure, great pain in order to get his political ends. So I don't think it's a foregone conclusion that Bolton will testify.
So the threshold is, Michael, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, 51 votes, right? This will come to a vote ultimately to decide whether or not this witness can be introduced. So that's a hurdle that Democrats feel like they can clear with the help of some Republicans like Mitt Romney of Utah, who came out yesterday and said it would be, quote, a good thing for John Bolton to testify.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing, is that how much, can the Democrats pick off a Republican or two to get to that point, to get them to put the pressure on McConnell to allow that to happen. Now, there had been some talk about whether, the Democrats would have to allow someone like Hunter Biden to testify. Would there be some type of deal like that? The thing is that we don't really know everything that Bolton has. We don't know what he's going to say. We know that it's not good for the president. We know that it could, people around Bolton believe it will be damning for him. But at the same time, without having a peek into that, I think that the Republicans can sort of shrug it off. So the question will be, in the coming days and weeks, can we figure out what it is that Bolton has, what it is that he's willing to say and that he has about the president that is so important?
I wonder if, Michael Steele, if some of these Republicans who are running in purple states that the Democratic nominee will likely win in 2020, if they can get away with that Marco Rubio strategy. I don't want to hear anything. I don't want to hear the truth. I don't want my voters to hear the truth. I'm going to keep my ears covered. Donald Trump, he did everything he could to stop everybody from testifying in the House, so now I don't want to hear it in the Senate. Can Cory Gardner really go to the voters of Colorado? Can Susan Collins really go to the voters of Maine? Can they go and really, I'd even say Martha McSally in Arizona. Yeah. She's in the fight of her life.
Yeah.
Because I would love, can they go and say, we know that Bolton was at the center of this. We know that Bolton, a conservative icon for decades, was a guy who called this a drug deal. We know Bolton was a guy who was so disturbed by it that he broke up the meeting and immediately ordered everybody to go talk to White House lawyers because it was so illegal. Can they go to their voters and say, yeah, we know all that, but we don't want to hear about it? I'm going to try to blame Nancy Pelosi,
on the record,
even though I have the power to learn the truth. Will they be able to say that? Because I can tell you this, Michael. You've run for office once or twice. I've run for office once or twice. Man, if I were running against a Democrat that did something like that, I would tear their political bones to pieces. It would be easy. And I'd just pick them off every single day of the campaign trail.